I'd been at the marketing firm for 5 years, always meeting deadlines, always pleasing clients. But the last 6 months had been brutal. Our new manager, Ms. Hardwick, demanded perfection and had a habit of changing requirements at the last minute. My anxiety had been climbing steadily until I finally broke down in her office last week. That's when she told me I needed to take a medical leave or face termination. "For your own good," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Today she called me into her office to discuss my options. Ms. Hardwick presented me with 2 options: resign quietly with a small severance or go on medical leave. I chose the medical leave. I had good disability insurance through the company. That's when the fun began. She told me I needed to have my doctor fill out immediate paperwork or my leave wouldn't be approved. When I explained my doctor was booked solid for weeks, she tapped her designer pen on the desk. "Then you'll need to see another doctor today. Here's a list of approved clinics." The list was of doctors in the next town over, a 2-hour drive with traffic, and you'll need to bring these specific forms completed in triplicate. She slid a stack of papers across the desk. "A to tap regressed or J, otherwise we'll have to reconsider your employment status." You know? "Then you'll need to see another doctor today." You know? I decided to play by their rules perfectly. I called in sick to my doctor's appointment, couldn't very well tell them I was going to a competitor clinic, drove the 2 hours through rush hour traffic, arrived at exactly 30:45 p.m., and completed every single form in triplicate as requested. When the front desk staff asked if I needed help, I politely declined. I wanted to make sure everything was done exactly as Ms. Hardwick required. I even brought copies of every document she'd requested, plus a few extras in case of paperwork errors. The doctor, confused by my insistence on immediate paperwork, filled everything out with minimal questions, and I was back on the road by 4,000 p.m. I arrived at HR's office at 4,000 Pydater Clinics and presented the completed documents. "Everything in order," I said, while mentally calculating the mileage and time. Miss Hardwick wasn't pleased to see me, but she couldn't deny I'd followed her instructions to the letter. She accepted the papers with a tight smile. The next day, my doctor called me, not about medical issues, but to complain about the inappropriate pressure from HR. It turned out that Miss Hardwick had called the clinic multiple times demanding immediate attention, which violated patient confidentiality protocols. 3 days later, HR announced that Miss Hardwick had been reassigned to a newly created position with no direct reports, a fancy way of saying she was fired. Meanwhile, my medical leave was approved for the maximum allowable time, with full pay. As I relaxed at home watching the news about the company's sudden restructuring, I couldn't help but smile.